y'all hear me all right as I'm talking?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I just fixed it. If you're on Facebook, we're back. Sorry, there was an issue, but we're back. Yeah, so I'm going to just start by introducing all of the ladies on the call with me. So first up is Sonya Jevette, the world's sultry, cool, and eccentric, best described the singer, songwriter, and musician Sonya Jevette. She was born and raised in Dallas, Texas, and graduated from North Mesquite High School. Sonya grew up singing the great R&B tunes that dominated the airwaves in the 70s. As a teen, she honed her vocal talent through the church choir. Winning a talent contest at the age of 17 was the beginning of Sonya's journey. From there, she went on to win dozens of competitions. These successes translated into media attention for radio and newspaper with an appearance at over 100 festivals. Sonya combines her rich, passionate voice and gut-wrenching lyrics with classical, Latin, and jazz-style guitar. Sonya's configuration produces a style that can only be described as unique. She was nominated in the Dallas Observer 2002 Music Awards alongside Erykah Badu and Ndambi. In 2019, Sonya was a finalist in the B.W. Stevenson Singer-Songwriter Contest and has played in such as Victory Grill 2013, Dallas Hard Rock Cafe, Deep Ellum Live, Deep Ellum Arts Festival in 2019, the 2015 South by Southwest, and ATX. Sonya's open mic at the Iron Cactus at Stone Lake in 2017. Current, the host, singer, songwriter showcases at Starbucks 4 Point Store. I don't know if that's still relevant with the lockdown right now, but Sonya has a passion for the business side of the music industry and has established her own indie label, Soundbite Productions. And might I add that I know you were on the board of an organization for musicians in Austin too, right?
Yes. Yes.
Sweet.
The Austin, Texas musicians.
Cool. I think that's so amazing when you're able to be on both sides of the fence. We'll kind of get into that in a little bit. So next up is a friend of mine, Ice. Ice has been playing guitar for 8 years, gained recognition online through YouTube and Instagram for playing small pieces. She is endorsed by Ormsby Guitars, LK Straps, and sponsored by Stringjoy. She released her album Reclaim on July 31st, 2019, and plans on releasing new music this fall. I'm really excited about that. You have a very eclectic style. And another friend of mine, Ghettosongbird, aka Samantha Hollins, is an independent rock and roll singer, songwriter, guitarist from North Philly. Since 2001, her cult fan base has watched her blaze stages nonstop at legendary rock venues worldwide. Including CBGB's in New York, the Bitter End, Whiskey A Go Go, the Troubadour, and the Overthrust Winter Mania Metal Fest in Botswana. Ooh. With hundreds of shows under her belt. She was also the curator of her own festival, Wingdom Fest, a show that gave space to other women and black people in rock and roll. Samantha recorded her Alley of the Earth EP in Los Angeles with the help of her mentor, Rosalie Brooks. The first single landed the Songbird on the classic BET show 106 in Park and in front of many music executives. In that time, that young black woman rocking with an aggressive electric guitar was taboo in the mainstream, which it still kind of is. We want to talk about that. Miss Songbird and her rocksploitation band, featuring her husband on drums and her best friend Chris Nelson on keys, has shared stages with some of their heroes, including Bad Brains, D'Angelo from Fishbone, RES, Vernon Reed's Living Color, jam band called the Freeform Funky Freaks. Ghettosongbird's message music she calls culture rock, which I love, has made a lingering impact playing throughout the USA, Australia, the UK, Brazil, and Africa, breaking rules along with her extraordinary journey. So, I don't know about y'all, but that was a mouthful because everyone is so experienced. I love it. So thank y'all for joining in. How about everyone kind of goes around and says their name again and where you currently are living? How about we start with you, Ice?
Well, my name's Icel Johnson. People call me Ice, and right now I am living in San Francisco, California.
What's the weather right now? Is it hot? Because I feel like y'all be.
No, it is not. It's freezing.
Oh.
It is cold. It's cold.
Global warming.
Wow.
Right. What about you, Sonya?
I am currently in Austin, Texas, and you said it right, which was nice, Sonya Jevette. It's 89 here right now.
Oh, wow.
And it's sun setting, so I get the northwest sunset, so it's really pretty for me.
Yeah. What about you, Samantha, sorry.
Sam is cool. Samantha Hollins, aka Ghettosongbird. I'm from Philadelphia. I like to always say that, but I'm living now in Delaware.
Nice. What's the weather like out there?
Very hot. It's 90 degrees, I believe.
Same here. I'm in Atlanta, and it's
Hot,
been hot all day long. All day long. I haven't left the house at all. I planned to run errands, but I got up this morning and had to teach a workshop at like 11. So I had to get up around 9:30 to prepare. But before that, my cat woke me up at about 6 a.m. That's been a thing for her lately. And she does it by putting her little feet on my face. And she'll do like that. And then she'll start screaming, meow! So have to deal with her, but I couldn't go back to sleep. So I want to start with a question that obviously is relevant to all of us, but how long have you been playing guitar, and what kind of got you into music and playing guitar and kind of just expressing your voice? Ice, you want to go first?
Sure. I don't know. It's actually, like, guitar happened by accident. It kind of started for me in, I believe, high school. I wanted to join the classical guitar group, but I was told I couldn't because there's no more room. And then from there, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to play guitar. I'm going to teach myself how to play. And that's how it's been for many years. Had many teachers, and it still doing it today. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Sonya, what about you?
I have been playing for over 22 years. And I started playing guitar because I got tired of waiting to have other musicians come play with me. So I wrote 4 songs, and then I went to college and went, what am I doing? What's this? What's this? What's this?
What all these things do? How do they work together? Samantha, what about you?
I'm showing my age, but over 20 years ago, I had a guitar player who was playing with me, and he could no longer do it. And it was like trying to find guitar players. You know the story. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to go to the pawn shop, pick up a guitar, and figure it out myself. I sat on my couch for like a good 3 months, figured it out, and my brother got me my first gig playing for one of his friends, and it's never stopped.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So I kind of want to talk about something that I emailed y'all about this, but I like talking about it in a public platform as well, because I think that a lot of times I think men in the industry have a tendency to see us holding an instrument and then question us as if I didn't select what I'm holding. So and that kind of just leads into a series of asking you, well, do you really know about tone? Like a series of questions that are really more of like a quizzing you to see if you're meeting up to the standards that they set for you in your head before even listening to what it is that you're doing or how amazing you are. The glory that you are, just your being. So can you kind of talk us through some of your tone preferences, or maybe like what style guitar? I know we each play different genres, which is why I wanted to have all of us on here. I thought it was a really good mix-up, but kind of tell us like what your main setup is and what type of guitar you play. I already know what you play because I stalk your videos, but go ahead.
You want me to start? Or?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, guys, like, my whole motto is keep it simple. So I just have, since I'm not, you guys go on tour, I never really experienced that yet. So my setup's pretty simple. It's like Norel DSP and Fortin.
Mm-hmm.
I use their plugins. I use the Polini from Norel. That's like my favorite. It's so diverse in sound and very ambient, and it also has those metal tones. Mm-hmm. Fortin's like great for rhythm playing with riffs. They got signature series from like all these metal players.
Yeah.
And yeah, other than that, I mean, honestly, like, that's it since I'm at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it. What about you, Sonya?
I have, my rig is set up for, let's see, it's for travel ready. So it's ready for inside and for outside. So my pedal board is a SKB pedal board, and it's got a doubler, it's got a blues driver, a wah pedal, and then a AB switch, and then a wah tuner. Mm-hmm. And my tone, I like warm, rich sound, so I use flat wound Diodario chrome strings with the hollow body, like the 335 natural wood hollow body, because my fingers sweat when I play guitars that are shiny and pretty and bright. They're beautiful, but my fingers just go, so I don't use those. And then the amp I use, it's heavy, but it's beautiful sound. It's a PV30. It's a nice, warm, rich sound. Those big old stacks are great, but I don't need that when I'm carrying my gear by myself, because 90% of the time I'm setting up and tearing down by myself. So, like Isis said, what less is more. So if it's my amp, my pedal board, and the mixer. Go.
Yeah, I feel that. Samantha, what about you?
I'm very old school and keep it very simple type of chick. I love jazz. I started off doing jazz, so jazz. My setup is a Roland Jazz Chorus 90 rig, and the pedals that I use, I still use the old school style with the boss pedal here, and you got the crybaby pedal here, and the chorus pedals, the flange pedals. I love all those sounds to create sort of like an exotic psychedelic vibe. And I like my tone warm but crunchy at the same time, depending on what I'm doing. Because if I'm rocking out like heavy metal style, then I want to be really tough and strong. But if I'm playing something funky, more jazzy and soulful, I like it warm. Sometimes I even go out of a bass amp to get something even like a thicker sound.
I like that. One thing I really love about tone is just like the versatility and so many different things that you can use to like create literally what you want. That's always been one of my favorite things, and like having all the different pedals and kind of like experimenting with setting them up and the order of how you do them. And there's so much fun in that. I know everyone knows that I play the green ESP guitar, which is one of my favorite ones, and I actually did some customizations with that when I got endorsed with the EMG pickups and added the Kurt Hammett bone breakers into that guitar. But I love, you can see my half stack behind me. This is one of my amps, but I really don't use that much unless like one day Beyonce calls me to open up for her or something, in which case then I have an amp already ready. But the thing that I really love about that amp is that it has everything that I look for in an amp kind of all in one. It has that classicness to it, that classic rock sound, but it still has enough of a grungy undertone with like a touch of reverb, because I love a reverb.
Oh, yes.
I love reverb at all times. But I just love that amp kind of gives me the flexibility to do that no matter what genre and style I'm playing. So I kind of want to jump into a question that I know a lot of people have personally asked me, and I don't know if this has been you all's journey, but kind of talk about what has been your overall experience, and then we'll kind of dive into the nuts and bolts, but kind of your overall experience of being Black women in the music industry, whether that's at festivals, at the studio, and Guitar Center, like all of the above, because I think that all of these things, and no matter like where we experience them, definitely adds up to becoming like an overall experience and something that we can talk about to relate to other women out there who follow us and admire what it is that we do. So Ice, why don't you kind of tell us about what's been your general experience in the industry, being on guitar and a woman and one of color at that?
Okay, well, I will say this, like growing up, getting into like metal, I wasn't really liked. I was basically casted out, you know, and my approach was always a kind and quiet and person. And when I go to shows, I get stared at a lot. And like, I remember this one time I was trying to talk to a group of people about who was playing. It was just hurt. Like, they basically moved away from me. Like, who are you? Like, it was just it was kind of a hard time for me growing up experiencing that. But, you know, now I feel like things are changing and people are more being open to the fact that this scene is changing. There's more diversity. You got your Asians, you got Latinos, you got, you know, everyone wants to be a part of this now. So It wasn't easy growing up, but I could say for myself, things have changed. People are more nice to me, more welcoming at shows. Studio wise, I had bad experiences too. I had men that didn't want me there. They would end my session like 5 minutes early because they didn't want me there. But I had to keep looking, and I found a couple good friends of mine to help me with my music now. So it wasn't easy, but things are just it's getting better.
Yeah. Facts. What about you, Sonya?
Let's see. Showing my age. I have been playing long enough to where musicians used to get paid to do a gig, and there was a base pay in the clubs. And then when the clubs start doing this, you got to sell ticket thing to get a show. It's like, what do you mean I got to sell tickets? It's your venue. I don't sell tickets. You paying me. So that whole pay-to-play thing threw me back for a little bit. I'm not a I'm not a traditional R&B black woman in the music industry. So it's always been, oh, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing hip hop or R&B? And I'm like, because I play guitar and sing and write my own stuff. I lived it. So it's always been that energy of, what are you doing here? And it's like, I can play.
Right.
Playing the guitar. I can play the guitar behind my head. Can you play guitar behind? No. So yeah, it's and this really famous wrestler told me once, you got to do things 3 times better than the rest in order to be successful in the industry. He was like the first black world champion, 3-time world champion or something. He's like, you can be good, but you got to be 3 times better. And I've always put that forth with everything that I do, because they don't. Nobody knows what you're bringing to the table till the table's laid out and you have a chance to play, to be at it. So,
exactly.
So
definitely.
That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question at all?
Yeah, definitely. All of the above. And I think like just having these types of conversations with other women who are out here in the same industry, we're all kind of out here doing our thing. I think just having these conversations is so important, because I don't really see as much unity as I personally would like to see in the industry with women playing, any type of instrument. I find that there's just, and I know we can probably all relate to this on different levels throughout our experiences, but just, the whole pitting black women against each other, and then, placing women inside of these boxes that nobody asked for y'all to make, and then get mad when I don't go inside of it. Like, but just having these conversations, I think, is very helpful, because a lot of people can relate to it, and they don't know if there's anybody out there that's like them. And I'll kind of share a little bit of my story afterwards. But Samantha, how about you go ahead? I don't want to cut you off.
Well, when I started in 2001 as a rock artist, because I was performing way before then, but as a rock artist, I had no idea what I was getting into. And it was like rock music and sexism and racism kind of became this thing that was a haunting thing every time I did a show at the beginning, and I really didn't know what I was facing. I would go to these venues, they would turn my vocals down, they would turn my guitar down, then they would try to blame me for stuff that I did not do, and it's like they kind of provoke you because they want you to be that loud black woman to go back and forth with them. And at the beginning, I was very quiet, an introvert, so I didn't speak up, so I had one of my band members go speak for me. But eventually, going through that taught me how to go speak for myself, manage myself, be my own boss, and not take that BS because they try to make it seem like you're playing this little toy when you're on stage. Yeah. And I got that all the time. Oh, look at her with the cute little guitar. She's so cute with the cute little big hair. But they would never acknowledge the playing. They would never acknowledge anything that I did. As soon as I would get on stage, they would try to move my stuff out of the way quick so they can get on and try to compete with me. And it was like, what are you doing? It's not even that deep. Yeah. It's like you go out there head first. You really got to study the business and find out other stories behind the game as far as women. Because I look at Betty Davis now, her story recently, and I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I went through.
Yeah.
And I had those times where I'm like, I don't even want to do this anymore. I just want to retire and just live a hermit life. But then the music calls me again and it pushes me to get back out there. But it's non-stop. It has not stopped at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. Um, I definitely can kind of relate to everybody's story. And like part of my journey was, I started playing clarinet. Well, I started out on piano. My mom put me in piano. I mean, it was cool, but like I couldn't get into it. But it was a great instrument to start out on from like a theory perspective and just kind of getting familiar with instruments and whatnot. And then I started playing the clarinet, and that was fun. But it wasn't until I personally got a guitar in my hand that I felt like, you know what, this feels right, because I can't sing and play guitar while playing clarinet. So it was a really eye-opening moment for me. Now I'm looking back, when I first got that. But I mean, even in that, I had such a hard time, identifying as a woman. I had a hard time identifying with my skin color. I thought that, maybe I'm doing something wrong because everyone that listens to the same style of music at school doesn't like me, or they don't really, I always felt something, but I couldn't quite identify what it was. And it wasn't until I got to college, when I got to Spelman, and which is an HBCU, realizing like, hold on, we created this whole thing and they mad at us? How? So, I didn't really realize that until later on down the road. But once I realized that and started learning about, the Chuck Berrys and the Sisters of the Thorpes, which I didn't learn about until I was an adult. But when I started learning about all of that in our history, it gave me so much more empowerment to like be fearless in the industry and to just go out and, like this series says, and like how each of us represent, just be my own boss, because I didn't want to, like Sonya said, I didn't want to just keep waiting for other people. I'm a go-getter. So if I see something I want it and I know how to get there, even if I don't know how to get there, I'm going to figure it out while I'm going. But I'm not going to be held back waiting for someone to give me something that they want to ration out, or whatever. So, but, so there are a couple of people. I'm live on Instagram as well. If you're on my Instagram page, we are over on my Facebook live page at Gabby Logan. And we are talking with friends of mine, Ice, Sonya Jevette, and Ghettosongbird. And we're just kind of talking about our experience of being Black women in music, which leads me to another question, dealing with racism, or have you all dealt with racism in the industry? And, what has been your experience with that? How do you deal with it? Because I mean, nobody plans, well, I don't get up every day planning to go deal with, racist people in the industry, whether that's on stage or whatever, but it happens, there's no way to really know where all of, these people or these types of people are inside of the industry until you actually get into those situations. And I think that sometimes you can kind of come with the shock of, oh, okay, so I'm in the middle of this. How do I respond to what this man just said to me without going off, like you said, Samantha, like, I don't want to be what they expect of me, which is the, crazy, angry Black woman or whatever. So have you all dealt with racism in the industry? And if so, how have you kind of dealt with it and navigated through it? Ice, wanna?
Well, I could say that the way I was treated was very obvious that they were racist. Sometimes it just doesn't have to be said. It's the way they treat you. And I've dealt with a lot. Sorry, my cat's like trying to get up here. It's very hard because like living in the Bay Area, like metal wise, I feel like the music scene's like kind of dying out, but there's some people left. And from that experience, like, I've just been alone, and I don't know, it's just growing up and like facing it and being treated very differently. It was just really difficult, but I was just so persistent, and when you face those type of adversities, you just tell yourself like, why are you doing this? Mm-hmm. Always keep the why in front of you. And it really got to me, but I said I gotta keep going because people don't want to see you succeed. You have a goal, you should always follow through with it. It doesn't matter what they say. And that's just a formula of how I just kept going and going and going.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Josh, I see your hand raised in the comment section. Drop your question and then we'll get to it in just a second. Sonya, what about you?
Mine has always been the opposite because I'm not, because I am a black woman. I am expected to play rap music or hip hop music, and that's not the kind of music I created or that came to me, that was gifted to me. So often throughout my career, I've had not a lot of access to the black audiences because I'm not the traditional black audience music. I've had more doors open through the white audience doors than I have through the black doors, but I think that's more also my own fault because I haven't guided my music toward that direction, but I also haven't tried to guide my music to be just one narrow focus of music. I call my stuff psychedelic soul music, stimulation of the mind. So in a positive way to help uplift what is the phrase? Lift as I climb. So that's how I have my music put out there. So I get more of the female energy that why are you here, woman, in this man space of instruments when you go shop for an instrument. I get more of that than I do of color. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. And that kind of sparked a question that I want to talk about later. But Samantha, what about you? Have you ever experienced that or in any capacity?
Oh, yes. The horrible thing about it is that I let it get to me at the beginning of the career. Like I said, it made me kind of want to retire. But now I kind of maneuver around it because I can sense it when it's coming. When I approach venues, I already know, and festivals, I already know which ones are probably not going to deal with me because I label my music culture rock for a reason. Because when you see me on stage, you're definitely going to see my culture all up in it. And a lot of people don't want that vibration there.
Yeah.
So I don't get on the particular festivals and events that a lot of other people do. So I have to go outside of my city and travel more and do things, just create that space so I don't have to deal with that because I don't want to really deal with that type of energy no more. It's not about being rich and famous and by any means necessary for me. At the beginning, it was all about chasing the deal and everything. I've been in front of executives, been getting ready to be signed and all that stuff before. It's cool when you're watching it on TV, but when you're actually in it, you realize what they really want and how it tries to shift and change you. Like, can you be more like India Ari? How about you not put your face on your album cover? How about you change your name? Oh, Ghettosongbird is on purpose too. Because I'm not changing who I am to make you feel more comfortable. Yeah. I have to be comfortable with who I am at the end of the day as an artist. And right now, artistry is all about the culture for me. So if folks are not comfortable with that, sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah.
That's
real. That's real. That's super real. I definitely can relate to everyone, with kind of the answer that everyone gave. And like for me, part of my experience has been, a lot of times, and not just in music, especially like in law and in corporate America and in nonprofit, a lot of white people see me as the black that is not like the others. Like, oh, she talks proper, or because like when you look at my resume, I mean, I have a very, very thorough resume, but that's because I was raised by two black parents who were like, my kids are going to be prepared for whatever this world is going to throw at them because we don't know what it's going to look like in 20, 30 years, but they're going to be ready. I know that. And so when I get into, situations where people look at my resume or they talk to me on the phone and then meet me in person, it's kind of like two different things. But, and then not only that, but, I think that a lot of times what I run into is that, again, white people in the industry, typically speaking, will look at me and hear me and put me in a category that they deem as, a type of black that's acceptable for them to work with or a type of black that's acceptable for them to have on their stage or on their bill. And a lot of what I've gone through with that has been, we get there and then I'm like, look, we need to go ahead and wrap this up. I need and then it becomes, oh gosh, she's the angry black. Oh, we didn't think she was going to do all of that. When it's just really, having a standard that I have for myself on stage. And it's like, I would hope that just as a whole, if we're all going to be doing music or we're all going to be singing something on stage, I would just hope that you as a sound engineer would want what happens at the venue that you work at to be the best showcase of artistry. Like, so why does it have to be all, but I also think that there's power in just knowing yourself, like you said, Samantha, just like knowing yourself. I know who I am, and that's not going to change, and walking in with confidence and, saying, look, these are my standards. We need to do a sound check on time. I'm very specific about my guitars, and I would like them to be heard in the monitors, please, before we start the show. And I'm not starting the show until we are all on the same page. Does that make sense? And then it becomes, oh, well, let me not, she's a little specific, so that kind of leads me into another question that I personally run into, and I don't know if you all have ever experienced this, but I find that like when I am very clear about my expectations before I walk into a venue, or I'm very clear about what it is that I need from a sound engineer or a booking agent or like contracting. Let me tell you something. I put a contract on the table first. If that's not together, then I'm not coming anywhere, because I don't know y'all and you don't know me. So this piece of paper is a form of agreement for us to all be on the same page, so nobody has to get cussed out on either end. That being said, a lot of times I get other women in the industry, just women in general, that kind of give me this, she thinks she's better than everybody because she wants a contract, and then it becomes like this, again, like the pitting women against each other type of thing, whether that's, said or unsaid. Have y'all experienced having like good support from other women in the industry, or have you found that you kind of have that tug of war type of thing with other women in the industry? And I know everybody's experience is different. I get a little bit of both. I get a lot of support from Black women, but I do occasionally have the tug of war with other women. Have y'all experienced that? Ice?
Not really. I mean, gosh, I don't even know how to answer that. If anything, I mean, it's basically women who have nothing to do with what we're doing that seem to get in my face. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's always the lead singer's girlfriend or the drummer's girlfriend who gets in my face, who says nasty messages to me, thinking I'm gonna take someone's guy. It's just, those are the type of things I deal with, and I just like, ma'am, like, I am a guitar player. I have to communicate with people, so I'm not trying to take anyone. It's just, I'm in shock. Like, wow, those are like never my intentions.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. Sonya, what about you? I saw you shaking your head.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. I've had both. I've had help from both, but I've also had no help a lot of times. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Samantha, have you?
Yes. A lot of it comes from competition. A lot of women seem to want to compete with me because I am just like you in a sense. I like to have everything together when I go to do a show, and I have everything organized. And I have my social media page looking a certain way, and I see that they pick on every little thing. It's like, really? My hair has nothing to do with anything. Oh, the way I'm dressed, it's like little picky stuff. But I've also formed some great relationships with women in the industry. I have a longtime friend by the name of Camilla Wahi, who I started with on the Philly music scene back in the early 2000s, and we still connect to this day. If she has something going on, she calls me in. If I have something going on, I'll let her know about it. And my sister, Ghettosongbird, who's actually still recovering from an accident, we were still working together in the midst. So I work with a lot of women. Even when I went to London, I'm like, sis, can you come on and do this show with me? The sister by the name of S.A. and the Voodoo People, that's the name of her band. I really want to connect myself with more women. I'm tired of all those cattiness stories and all those competition stories, when we can create so much more powerful energy together.
Yeah.
So I love what you're doing right here, Gabby, on that note.
Thank you. Like, I definitely want to try to keep going and being, one of those women that, supports other women, on purpose, and not because, a magazine said that we had to make it look like, that being said, actually right on time. So Vernon Reed just dropped a comment and just said, don't pay no mind to what them people say. And that's facts. I need to talk to you later about something if you don't mind. But that kind of leads me into another question, which is kind of shifting gears. But what does a day in your shoes look like? You know, people see us again on social media. They see us, you know, doing the videos and the interviews and hanging out with our families. But like, what is a day in your shoes, a typical day in your shoes look like if you have a festival to get to or a show or a tour or whatever? Samantha, you want to start off? Can you hear me?
You said Sonya or Samantha?
Samantha.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh.
A day in my life? Oh my goodness. I have 4 little ones, a 2-year-old, a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 9-year-old. So my day.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Jesus. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
There is no time.
I'd be tired with my cat, honey.
There is no time. I'm so glad at the beginning of my career I was so focused on learning my craft, because right now there is really no practicing my guitar anymore. There's no time to really rehearse the way I would like to rehearse until the show is actually coming up. So now I just do what I have to do to homeschool them. I try to touch my guitar at least once a day, cooking dinner. My hair is back. It's not like this.
Yes.
This is fun dressing up sometimes, especially at home, because I don't get to do that.
Yeah.
And I like to show those pictures as well on social media, because it's not all hair and makeup. It's actually real out in these streets.
Okay.
And you have to be able to focus and have a good balance between home, whatever your lifestyle is at home, and this business side. And the business called me back recently, so I'm getting back into business. But before, when this pandemic first started, it was all about hair wrapped up, kitchen, trying to touch my guitar. They come to take it from me, trying to jam with my husband with his drum, because he's my drummer. They're coming in, taking the instruments and trying to jam with us. It's all a bunch of interruptions, but I love it. It's perfect interruptions. I love it.
Yeah. Sonya, what about you?
Let's see. A preparation day before a gig, or just a day in general right now?
One of both, because I know that that's 2 different things for us as musicians. Preparation day for show is different than everyday business day. Like just doing behind the scenes stuff.
So everyday business day currently. I am a full-time online student at Arizona State University. So I'm taking 2 classes that are 16 weeks worth of information shoved in my brain at a 7-week time period. I teach guitar lessons at least 3 to 4 days a week. I work out at least 4 days a week on my little exercise recumbent bike at the house. I make sure that I go outside and look at the sun with some vitamin D at least once a day, or try to, and get next to the window. You can't see my rig, but I maintain my rig, because I also teach online classes of how to do online broadcasting, because I'm a weird person. I play in Second Life. I don't know if you even know what that is. I'm an avatar in a game, and I play in the game, and they pay me to play. I play in another reality game called 3D Web World, and then another game called Sansar. So I'm the weirdo. I'm the online music artist. And everybody's like, well, do you come outside? It's like, yeah, I do every once in a while, but it's better in here. Anyway. And then I do 20 hours a week at least of content for social media, because you got to do your own social media, because, you could pay somebody, but that costs a little penny. Okay. I'm happy to pay, but anyway. Recently, I just upgraded my website. I have a YouTube site. I have, what's that other thing? I have my own business account that I'm trying to learn how to do your own domain site. This is all in the past 6 weeks. Wow. On top of that, so I have a mixer that's a Yamaha mixer that does not work with the Mac, because the driver doesn't work with the Mac. It works with the PC. So 6 weeks of trying to figure out how to get my recording back, because I've been doing my own live broadcast recording for the last 5 years. So I'm a super geeky nerd. I'm a musician's musician. I have always been. As far as gig days, If it's a 1 hour gig, it's probably 2 hours of prep time and 2 hours of teardown time. Probably.
Right.
If I have to bring my own gear, then add another hour on each end. That's not including going to take a pee, to put face on, to put clothes on, to go up there and look pretty and sing, and then go tear it down. So
that's so much, and that doesn't even all of that don't even include our regular everyday life things like breathing, eating, showering, groceries, store runs, fixing a car, gas in the car. Like, I'll tell you, if you want something done, ask a black woman because we get it done.
For real.
Ice, what about you?
Well, I can only speak on the online part since I'm online a lot. Well, for my lifestyle, you need lots of coffee 24/7, and I've just been, working on the EP I'm working with my friend Chris on it, a lot of back and forth, a lot of watching videos on pedals, a lot of rare pedals, messing with sounds, editing my videos, learning new skills on editing. A good friend of mine is sending me pics to try out, so I've been messing with that. Just a lot, and of course messing with Morel and Fortin. Just a lot of, I'm just messing with a lot of sounds and learning how to film my own stuff and adding more stuff to it. So that's basically every day.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Well, yeah. Woo. Lately, and every day for me has been, I partner with a lot of different camps, girls rock camps around the world lately for their last minute online virtual camps. And so that's been a lot, to say the least, just from, doing the logistics behind the scenes, and then, having to schedule all of my band to be teaching certain things, and then helping them with curriculum development, and then making sure that lines up. Then I got to pop into the classes to make sure they're good. Plus I have clients, I got to do contracts and all that kind of stuff. And truthfully, at this point for me, like, that is my everyday life. And I'm typically in bed by like 3 or 4 in the morning on a good night, if I'm feeling good and getting stuff done. But I just love how we're all, even though we're all busy and there's so many different things to do, we're still doing it and getting it done and just shining in all of our glory. And I'm sure a lot of people that follow us on social media think that we make it look easy. But let me tell you something, it ain't. We get it done. Because this is something that we're passionate about, and we love it. So I just want to, we got about 15 more minutes, and I want to ask a random lighthearted question, which is, what would be your top 3 artists for right now that you're listening to? One of them being an artist that someone maybe wouldn't guess that you listen to. I'm going to go first, because somebody asked me this in an interview the other day, and I just kind of blurted everything out. But I listen to Nirvana basically every day, because I'm obsessed with Nirvana. And I love Beyonce, obviously. But I listen to a lot of trap music. I really, really, really do. And for some reason, I have been into, I've been listening to a lot of Lil Baby. And, but that's because I'm from Atlanta. I was born and raised in Atlanta. So, just listening to a lot of that and the Migos. Whenever I say Migos, if you don't know me, then whenever I say Migos or trap hip hop or something, everyone's like, what? So, but Ice, what are 3 of your top favorite artists right now that you've been listening to? I know that's a hard question. Ice, can you hear me?
Right.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, me? Wait. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. One artist that no one knows I'm listening to is Samantha James. I don't know if anyone knows Samantha James. Mm-hmm. You heard her? Oh God, I love her so much. Yeah. Her songs are just so spiritual and so beautiful. And then the 2 others are heavy metal band Spite, and I've been listening to another hardcore band called Judiciary, I believe. Yeah, those are the bands I've been listening to. And Samantha James.
Nice. Sonya, what about you?
Let's see. So people that they would. Okay, anyway, West Montgomery, and local here. No, I'm not going to even go there. Let's see. That I wouldn't. That you. I like 9 Inch Nails. I think they're fun. I don't know why, but they're fun. Who else? That you wouldn't think I would. I don't know. Let's see. Let me look at my list. I don't know. I don't have a third. Because I listen to jazz music that's not doesn't have vocals because I can't. Because I'm always trying to analyze the music and the vocals. So I listen to just straight up jazz when I'm studying, and it's just jazz flavors of Latin jazz and samba jazz and Miles Davis and Billie Holiday and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's yes. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, definitely. I love 9 Inch Nails too. Samantha, what about you?
I am loving her right now. Her, singer, songwriter, guitarist, R&B. I love her. Yes. At first, I didn't listen to it because I'm not into radio music, I could say. But then I realized she's not actually just one-dimensional. I hate to say that about radio, but
yeah,
I dug more into her music, and I'm like, wow, this sister can play and she can sing and she's writing. She's really writing some cool stuff. I also love Overthrust from Botswana. They're a death metal band. I love heavy metal and death metal. Ice, I'm listening to you. I am. Gabby, I'm listening to you too. And this Sonya, I hope to hear your music. I've been researching all of you.
Yes, Google. So,
I think I followed all of you
on social media. That was actually going to be something that
on Spotify.
Oh, nice. I had to clean my Spotify up the other day because I didn't realize that my artist profile was a complete train wreck. 0 photos, the name wasn't spelled right. I had to do a lot of random cleanup on different artist profiles on all these streaming platforms. It is a lot. I didn't really realize it until I started having to edit everything. But like, I did not realize how much work it is to. Vernon said her is dope. Parentheses, which is terrible English, but dope being in all caps. But yeah, I just didn't realize how much work it was having to edit all my profiles and whatnot until I actually had to start doing it. But so that actually leads me to a couple of other artists that friends of mine in the industry that I know all of us know these ladies. Even if we don't know them personally, we know of them just from social media. But if you haven't already, if you're watching and you haven't already listened to parts 1 and 2 of my Being a Boss series live stream, in part 1 I had Jackie Vincent, my homegirl Aaliyah out of Montreal, Quebec, and then Soleil out of New York. They talked with me on part 1, and then on part 2 I had another friend of mine, Indigo. She currently is in Texas, but she is a Howard student in DC. And then Aaliyah again, and then Soleil joined. And then part 3, if you were just now tuning in, I have my friends Ice, Ghettosongbird, and Sonya Jevette talking just about some of our experiences of being Black women in music. Part 3 I'm really excited about. We're doing part 3 now, but part 4, which is going to be happening at the end of this month, I'll kind of talk to y'all a little bit about that later. But I just kind of want to lead us towards our closing. And as I'm kind of leading us into this, if you were watching on either platform, on Instagram Live or on Facebook, if you have any questions for any of the ladies on here tonight, please go ahead and start dropping those in the comment section, even if it's just a comment, which earlier someone did leave a comment that I wanted to read that I love. Ali Bishop said, showing the sisters love and support. There are brothers that love you and want to see you succeed. Keep doing your thing. And I love that. I love seeing Black men, really just men in general, but especially Black men lifting up Black women because there's not a lot of that happening right now in the world around us, unfortunately. But I do have hope that our community will come together a lot more on that front, which kind of leads me to one thing that I want to ask you all in closing. What's one piece of advice that you would have for, a young Ice or a young Sonya or a young Ghettosongbird that's out there watching you. And because you never know who's watching you, you never know how much your movement and your music and your voice impacts somebody, even if they never tell you. So what's one thing that you would say to those young girls or even women, grown women who are out here watching you and are just inspired by you? What's one thing that you would tell them as they embark on their journey? Sonya, do you want to start off?
Sure. I would say, or I will say, one, never give up on yourself, because there's only one you. Two, if you want it, the phrase is be, do, have. If you want it, be it. If you got to get it, do it to have it. So be, do, have. And always keep looking for the education, because the more education you have towards your degree or your career or your music style, whatever it is, go get it. Go find it. There's lots of books out there, because the more knowledge you have of what you're trying to do, the better off you will have in the playing field. When people come at you with contracts or come at you with hey, I want you to sell these tickets and that kind of jazz, or hey, I want to use your song in my new video. Let me pay you $25. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff you need to know about. Right. So go get the education. It's very, very important.
Definitely. Samantha, what about you?
It's so important to find out who you are as an artist. There's no need to compete. There's no need to follow trends. Find out who you are. Explore who you are. Find your voice. Find your passion. Stick to it. Don't change it for anything, because eventually that will come around. What you really want to do will come around to you, and you can start creating places and spaces for yourself and others, like what Gabby's doing here. And also, you got to understand your business. Take classes, whether it's a course online or going into the bookstore, finding a little corner and reading about it. And you have to know that getting signed and playing the game the way that the industry plays it might not factor into what you can handle. So find out what it is that you want out of this business and what it is that you want out of being a creative person, because they're two totally different things. You can be a creative person without actually doing business, and you can be more of a business person without actually being so creative. I like to find both in the middle at some place. So find who you are and find where you are and go for it. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. Ice, what about you?
Be persistent. Be persistent. Love it. Mean it. And listen to everything. I guess I'm speaking in a creative sense, because some people just like go into this and they don't know who they are. I just say, be who you are. Listen to everything. Don't put yourself in a box. Yeah. Experiment with sounds. Mess with all instruments. Don't rule anything out. Just be open. Be a vessel of creativity.
Yeah. Definitely. And I would definitely echo everything that all of you said, and just add to that, like don't give up. And I did a self-management series this morning, and that's kind of one of the things that I closed with, which is, it's going to be a lot. It's 100% going to be a lot. Any journey in life, no matter what industry you're in, no matter who you are, is going to be a lot. But don't let that discourage you. And adding 2 comments that I just saw dropped in. Another friend of mine, Coley in rock and roll, he has started his own label, independent label, and he dropped a comment that said consistency is key, which is definitely 100% true. And then Vernon also dropped a comment and said, always do you. It's too good to be true. It's not. The guitar is not going to play itself. If you can't play it slow, you will never play it fast. Never give up. And I love that. And I totally agree. And I
Thank you, Vernon.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm seeing, so we're getting so much love. Thank y'all. We appreciate it. People are in the comment section like, we support y'all. We love y'all. Keep it going. So that kind of brings me into a closing question that someone has dropped in here. Aquanetta says, I love all of you. Will any of you make music together in the future? I personally don't see why not. I like to be in the studio. So if we could, once this lowercase t in office can expedite whatever they're going to do so we can finish this house arrest, COVID house arrest, then I would love nothing more than to get in the studio with y'all in your respective cities and cook up something dope, some black girl magic. But does anybody else have anything to add to that?
That would be fun.
Do y'all have anything to add to that?
This is the this year, 2020 is the 100th year anniversary, bicentennial anniversary of the women's right to vote. Mm-hmm. So in August, it's the 100th year anniversary. So this is it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Go vote, people. Go vote.
Please go vote, y'all. Please go vote. Do not vote for Kanye. I can't tell you what to do, but Kanye is... I'm not going to get too far into that. I just shaking my head. That's all I'm saying. But,
just go vote. Go vote.
Right. Please go vote. Please go vote. Samantha, do y'all have anything else to add?
What was the question?
Aquanetta said, will any of you make music together in the future?
Oh, yeah. After this, yeah.
Nice. If not music, at least tour or something.
Yeah.
Fat.
Yeah.
Super fat.
I am adding...
Gabriella, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's very...
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for joining me. And I'm actually, before people start harassing me, I'm going to add everyone's @ in the comments. I'm doing it now. But I'm going to add everyone's Instagram @ and I'm going to tag everybody on here on their Facebook page. And then I'll also drop websites. Sonya, I have yours. Ice, do you have a website? Samantha, do you have a website? I probably, if you do, I missed it. Thank you,
Yeah,
Vernon.
I do. I don't think I gave it to you.
Okay. Well, in that case, what we'll do is just text it to me, and then I'll add it to this post because I'm going to repost this later and tag y'all. So I will add everyone's Instagram pages right now in the comments section. And in closing, just want to ask, do you all have any projects that you're working on or just released, or, any bands that you're in that you want to promote? Whatever you want to promote, now's the time to share that with all of the listeners. Ice,
do you want to go first?
Ice, do you have anything?
Who, me?
Mm-hmm. Any upcoming projects or anything?
Yeah, in the fall, like I said, I'll have new music in the fall this year.
Can we get a name of the project? No? Okay. I get it.
Gotta be quiet.
Samantha, what about you? Do you have anything going on?
Before the pandemic, I was working in the studio, but I decided, because homeschooling got thrown on me, to take a break and really finally relax, because I've been touring nonstop since I started. Mm-hmm. So in light of that, I'm actually working on a couple of projects now, which includes my culture rock thing. I don't want to say what it is right now, but there's going to be a lot that's going to help continue to move this movement forward. Mm-hmm. I did it last year with my tour, and I want to keep that going, working with different brothers and sisters in the business.
Yeah.
And I'm also working on a project with my children. That's a lot going on. Just stay tuned. If you want to get to know me, though, go to reverbnation.com/Ghettosongbird, and you'll find out everything you need to learn about Ghettosongbird before you get to the new stuff.
Yes. Come on, it's a history behind it.
Yes.
Okay. I just dropped everyone's social media tags in the comment section. And in closing, I just want to say again, thank y'all for joining on. And if you have not seen parts 1 and 2, featuring Jackie Vincent, Aaliyah Guerra, Soleil, and Indigo, please go to my page and my website, www.TxLips.com, because pussy's power. Not up for negotiation. And then, again, thank you so much, Ghettosongbird, Ice, and Sonya, for joining me tonight. Part 4 is going to be, I'm going to give y'all some dates in the comment section, so get your pens out, because y'all like to DM me and ask me, even though it's on the website. But Part 4 is going to be featuring some bandmates of mine, actually, and then some longtime friends that I've had in the industry, Jay Sticks, Fruitful Rhythm, and Sterling, who plays bass. And we have some percussionists that are going to be joining us. Part 4 is going to be happening on July 31st. And then part 5 and 6, I'm not going to tell y'all who's on that because I actually have a very special guest I'm excited about. But I'm not going to mention her name just yet. Y'all have to wait. But part 5 is going to be on August 15th. And then part 6 is going to be on August 29th. If you missed any of those dates, I'll put it on my website. Follow me on social media. I will definitely be sure to repost all of these amazing women on my page so that way you can find them if you missed the comment section. And then one last thing is thank you so much again, Guitar Girl Magazine, for partnering up with me on this series. If you haven't read my Being a Boss series, this is actually a live stream that's complimentary to different pieces that I write about my personal behind the scenes journey of being a boss. Because like I said, and as we've talked on this chat, it's a lot of work, but it's definitely rewarding and it's a beautiful journey. You learn so much in the end, and I'm so thankful for every up and down that I've gone through. It's made me a stronger person.
Yes, indeed.
And I think that's about it. The last thing that oh, you know what? One last thing. Let me, hold on, y'all. Sorry. I can be a little animated sometimes. But I just released one of 2 albums. My debut album, Musicology, just dropped. So if you haven't placed your order, please do that on my website. And I actually have, if y'all remember Wacky Pack stickers from back in the day, I made Wacky Pack stickers out of my logo. So you can get those on my website. And if you all would like, I would love to send you all some goodies just for a thank you for being on today. So I'll follow up with y'all on this later. And I think that's about it. People in the comments, y'all have anything left? Just a lot of support and love, and just want to make sure I didn't miss anyone's questions. No, okay. Well, thank y'all so much for joining, and I hope y'all have a good evening, and I will see y'all at the end of this month for the next part.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank y'all. All right, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. So thank y'all again for joining me. I just have to say that this is such an amazing journey. So I had to get myself situated after scooping on the floor. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of your support out there and supporting me and my band, the TxLips. If you are not aware, I am dropping a second full-length album at the end of this month, July 31st. It's called The Prison of Life. And I'm really excited for y'all to hear this song. I put a lot of work into this and a lot of new things that you probably haven't heard yet. So in terms of like my style of music and playing, especially in light of what's going on right now in America and Black Lives Matter. So thank y'all again for the support and the love. You know what I'm saying? I fucks with y'all a long way. TxLips Gang, TxLips Nation, and we out. I gotta go find Gracie because I'm sure she's somewhere in here causing an absolute train wreck because that's what she does. Anywho, bye y'all.